Hello, good evening. How are you today? I'm sure we all have a wonderful time in the presence of God today at the service. Thank you for joining me once again. Last week we actually spoke about communication. We spoke about communications regarding between the couples, between husband and wife. And today we have lots of things we're going to talk about. I'm so excited today in my spirit. I'm really excited. Oh, Kemi, thank you for joining. Thank you. And I just want to say today is actually my second son's 16th birthday. It's been awesome today. We've been there at the presence of God. Thank you everybody that actually came to rejoice with us, for the prayer, for the gift, and for your presence. The Lord bless you and the Lord keep you. So we'll because of our time, thank you very much, Elizabeth. That's my namesake. Thank you, Fume Ibrahimo. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Thank you very much. I just want to tell us that last week, I'll just quickly do a little recap about communication. That how many, I'm sure I can see some people were here last week and some were not. We actually just, last week we spoke about communication. And before we go ahead, I'm just going to give you a testimony of a sister that actually told me during the week, which was really, no, not even a sister, some sisters, because someone told me again today in the church. She said it actually went a long way, that it was a good one for her, because usually she normally just, she doesn't, when she's annoyed with her husband, she just kind of keep it to herself. That listening to that has actually helped her. So I'm just thanking God for that, and I hope we're all actually doing that. And I said something last week, that we need to do 10 things to appreciate our spouse. Did you do it? Can we just type there if we actually done it? I can see people are joining us. And Alanre, thank you for joining. Thank you. If you actually, and if you didn't do it, there's still room for you to do it. I actually wrote 12, because I wouldn't do I wouldn't tell you what I wouldn't do. So what I'm actually saying is that I did it, and I wrote 12, and I had to stop myself that, oh no, I've actually done enough. So, but what I'm saying is that we need to appreciate our spouse. That was last week, and I'm sure it's working for people. So it's working, and I know it can work for you too in your marriage. Thank you for joining, Evelyn. Thank you for joining. Yes, me, thank you. So, and I'm actually, today we're talking about singles. I'm going to talk about singles for the first minute, and also before, and we're going to talk about marriages too. That's couple, we're talking about finances. So it's about two things we're going to talk about today. So we won't really take much of our time, because I know it's a Sunday evening. We want to quickly do one or two things. So, okay, thank you for joining, Queen. Thank you. Singles, I just want to tell you that the Lord has not forgotten you. Though that marriage, when you actually entered, it didn't work, but you remember something, it can still work. Don't give up on yourself. Don't just say it's all over, that you made a mistake. Fine, you made a mistake. It might not be your fault. It might actually be something that happened. It's something beyond your control. But I just want to give you hope today that God is still on the throne. God is still working it out. And I know and I believe it's going to work out. That marriage that you are believing God for, that you want to go in the second time, fear not, because God is with you. I just want to tell you something, that no matter how you think how old you are, God is still something out for you. And I can see Titi Adeleye, thank you for joining. Claire Borg, thank you for joining. And I actually want to say something, because I want to talk to singles first before I go to talk to our married people. Singles, even from the age of 18, fine, you are in the university, and that man is actually talking to you now. The man is asking you out, and you're like, you still have a lot of time. No, don't think that. You can actually start with friends. What I'm actually telling you is that when you have somebody that is talking to you, even at the university, I'm not saying something about sexually now, that do anything sexually, but I'm saying have friends. While men are talking to you now, be their friend. Don't say, no, I don't have that time, or that boy is not fine enough, he's not doing this. No. And you know, the thing about it is that before you know it, you're actually getting older and gradually. But what I want to tell you is that there is hope for you, especially for the ones that maybe one way or the other their marriage didn't work at first, but just want to tell you that the Lord is on the throne, is going to work out something for you. So singles, that's why I'm here to tell you today that just hold on, keep believing God that it's going to come through. Just be patient, and while you're actually doing that, and I just want to say there are some people that are actually single genuinely. And there are some people that maybe they just want to be single, maybe because of what the society is saying. Because for single mothers, they give them money, or they do anything extra for them. Don't let's forget that at the end of the day, the children that we're actually calling that you're treating the children like your spouse. Remember that the children are actually going away. They're going away. They're going to get married soon. So don't let's forget that God is actually working something out for you. And while God is working something out for you, don't neglect the man that is talking to you. Don't say because your first marriage didn't work that you think this one is not going to work too. God is on the throne. It's going to work. Let's have faith. Let's just have faith that things will work out. Then I want to say something about, I'm still talking about singles too. Don't say because you're single that you just want your children to now be your spouse. No. You're welcome there. I can see you there. Lola, Sophie, thank you for joining. And just because you're single, don't say you want to make your children your spouse. No. You need to still treat them that they're your children. You need to pamper them just the way as if your man is there beside you or your wife is there beside you. Don't let's get carried away because we are actually treating those children on our own, and you think that because of that we want to kind of get all our attention to them and say, oh, because it's like I'm the one just minding them. Oh, let me just. No, I'm not saying you shouldn't give them all the affection. Give them all the affection. Give them all the love. But remember that we need to still be disciplined to them. I'm talking about single mothers. I'm talking to single mothers in the house. I'm talking to single fathers in the house. The Lord is on the throne. The Lord is going to sort you out. Because the first one didn't work out, don't think that it's not going to work out the second time. Okay, and the second point is that the children, we still need to, when we need to pamper them, we need to pamper them, and when we need to be strict to them, we need to be strict to them. Remember, it's even written, when you spare the rod, when you spare the rod, you are spoiling the child. So that's what I'm just going to say. And thank you very much for joining Ayomiku Adewumi. Thank you. And I just want to tell you again that when we need to be humble. We need to be humble, both women and both men. Because a man is talking to you and is actually coming to you without a car. That doesn't mean that he can't take care of you. Maybe while he's actually approaching you, it's not even with his car then. So don't look at the material things. Look beyond that. I'm actually talking to even the singles in the house. Look beyond that. It's not about the material things we should be looking at now. We should actually be focusing about what is the Lord saying to me concerning that person that is actually talking to me. What do I feel? Is it nice enough? As in, is it very caring? You don't judge by material factor. That's the list I'm just going to talk, and I'll still be coming back to that now, but I'll just go a little bit to all the married couples in the house now. I actually want to welcome everyone, and I want to talk about finance. I want to talk about money, and I just want to say money is a very big issue in marriages. I'm saying it's a big issue now because I just realized I've actually done some counseling and I've spoken to some people, and I realized when it comes to money factor, people actually separate. They said, oh, my money is my money. And sometimes the women even say, oh, his money is actually our money. But I'll just tell you that why don't you do something? Why don't you give it a try today? Why don't you put the money together? And when you put the money together, you pray on it and you start budgeting. You start saying, for this month of June, we want to do this. For this month of June, we list everything we're going to do. And with that, you still be... You still put the money together. You don't say, oh, I have my... And there are even some women that they are earning more than their husbands. You're earning more than your husband. That doesn't make you the breadwinner of the house. That doesn't make you that you shouldn't be respectful to him. You need to be humble. You might just be the breadwinner for now. You might actually just be that you're the one that you're getting more salary now, or maybe the money is coming through you now. But I just want to tell you something that we need to come together when it comes to money issue. That's what I just want to say. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Femi, for saying that. I thought, because normally you can actually write your comment, and I'm just trying to read something that someone actually wrote. So when you have a comment, you can write it down. Then I will always be coming back to see it. So it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's just that when I'm talking, I don't want to lose this train of thought. So I will come back to you. Thank you very much for the comment. We're going to read the comment later. So we're talking about the money issue now. The money issue, what's happening is that some people, when they just, even before you get married, you need to put things together. You need to understand your spouse. You need to know the person that is a good manager when it comes to money, because we are different when it comes to money, husband and wife. Some people are actually like, oh, they're better manager than the other. But what I just want to say is that when you put it together and you list everything you need to do in the month, it's easier that way. When you come and you share you share your money together. And there's something I want to talk about. There are some men that they don't even show their pay slip to their wives. I wonder why this. And do you know what? Men in the house, I just appreciate you. I can see some men in the house now. Do you know what is actually happening? If you don't show your wife your pay slip, if your wife doesn't know how much you're actually earning, she's going to ask you more than what you can afford. Because let's say, for example, you're actually earning about £4,000, and your wife wants to buy a Brazilian hair that's going to cost about £2,000. That's even half of the salary, and the mortgage is still to be paid. There are other money to be paid. She wouldn't know, so she's going to ask you more than what you can actually give her. So what I'm actually saying is that men, be transparent. Women also be transparent, because it's actually vice versa. There are actually some women actually that they are the one that are even keeping the salary. The men is even open. And it's even the men that is keeping it. So we're actually talking about finances now. And it's a major issue, because, you know, the way it is that when the men actually get the money, they just say, oh, it's my money, it's my money. I just want to say, okay, that's it. You don't tell me the way I need to spend my money. I'm an African man. I'm in Europe now, or I'm everywhere. I just want to spend my money the way. You don't have to dictate to me. And the woman too will say the same thing. And you know, when you're doing that, when you don't have oneness, you don't have agreement together, you can't really move forward, because there are some projects that you need to do together when you actually keep that money together. There's some project that you need to focus yourself together on to do. But when you start separating that money, and when you don't even open up to tell your wife how much is actually coming in, and when the wife is not even opening up to tell the husband how much is coming in, it's going to be a big fraction in the house. So I'm just encouraging couples in the house today that we need to actually be open to ourselves when it comes to the matter of finances. I just want to welcome people like Busola, thank you for joining. Mr. Oshifaya Shegun, thank you for joining. Ibitaya, thank you for joining. Mr. Labinson, thank you for joining. Like what we actually said, I'm talking about finances. So we need to be open. We need to let know what is happening. Like what we said last week, this about finances is also relating back again to communication, because there is something that is actually happening now in marriages that I notice, and that is actually affecting most couples now. They just keep to themselves. They just don't want to share things. They don't want to. They're like, there's some. I won't say some men. There are some spouse. I'll just say, because sometimes it can be women, and also it can be men too. There are just some spouse that they don't even know the PIN number of their spouse. You have a card, and you know you sleep together. There is nothing you're ashamed of. You go to the room, you see your nakedness. When you actually getting married, you made a vow. And you remember that vow you made. You said to love and to cherish. And you also said in sickness and in health. You also said you are going to be sharing things together. You're going to be putting two things together. So why is it so difficult now? Why is it so difficult now that you can't share your bank account? Why is it so difficult now that you can't share that thing that is so precious to you? Like even this Facebook we're actually talking about, phones, as little as phones. Some spouse don't even know their spouse PIN number on their phone. What is it that we are keeping? Is it the extra girlfriend or is the extra boyfriend that we are keeping that is not allowing our spouse to know our PIN number? I just want to encourage us today that we should drop it. By the time you're close to you're close to your spouse, there's nothing that you're going to ask that he will not give you, because he will realize that there's nothing you're keeping, and they will just realize that you're doing it in one heart and in openness. If you give your wife your PIN number, your card, do you know what? Even if she's the one that really buys things a lot, and let me tell you something, she's not going to spend that card the way she is going to spend her own card, because you're trusting now, you're giving her that, and she's going to be wow, because you've not done it before. You just say, oh, shall I take my card? And do you know what? She's going to come back and you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. She wouldn't spend that money she's going to like, oh yes, I'm going to spend it. But you know, I know of I've heard about couples that actually steal from one another. You can imagine. A wife will come back from home, drop a bag on the bed, and the man will go there and will steal. What are we teaching our children? So why is it that when we now say we're looking for something, we're actually looking for something in the house, and you're asking the children that they've taken it, not knowing that it's actually your husband that took it, because you've been hiding it. You've been hiding it from him from him. And also there's another couple. The man is actually building a property for them to live in, and who can you trust to actually manage it for you? You can only trust your wife. And guess what? The wife is actually stealing from the husband, inflating the prices of the material. How is this actually? What morals are we teaching the children? What morals are we teaching them? So what I would just want to tell you that let's have openness in everything we do. Let's have that openness. That money, it is nothing. We came to this world with nothing, and we're going to go with nothing. So remember, the money is there now. And remember, even when the money is there, we can even still say, oh, I have my wife, I have my spouse. Thank you for joining in, Bumi. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining in, Ricky. Thank you. I thank you. You can just write your comment, then I'll be able to read it there. He made the trees that made the paper money. Oh, that's good. I can see somebody said, it's God's money. It's not even your money. He made the trees, and that made the paper too. So money is just paper. It is nothing. So don't so I'm particular about finances today. I'm particular about that money that is causing that issue. Especially when it comes to this part of the world that I am, when it comes to bills. Oh, they said, oh, she's making more than me. Oh, I'm going to pay the bill. It's the man that's going to pay the bills. Anybody can pay the bills. When you are in agreement together, it doesn't matter who paid the bills. So far the bills is being paid. I've actually heard of couples that because they wouldn't pay the bills, they actually have to cut their electricity off. Can you imagine? What are you saying to the children? What are you teaching to the children? We need to be a good role model to our children. We need to do something when it comes to money. Thank you for joining, Bolanle, thank you. We need, when it comes to money issue, that openness, like I said, we need to be open to one another. We need to let go. We need to say there is nothing there. It's just paper, like my friend just said here that. So why are we hiding that? And I just want to say that, why do you have to separate your money? Why? I only just see if I can just say some suggestions. Everybody can just cite something in the house. I just want everybody to just talk, and we can just actually share it about. Why do you have to separate your money? Why? I think I can guess now then. The answer that I can get, that some people are saying, oh, he doesn't know how to spend. Oh, she doesn't know how to spend. Oh, fine. He doesn't know how to spend. She doesn't know how to spend. Why don't you give it a trial? Why don't you give it a trial and say that this month we have a budget. Write the budget together and put the money that comes in, put it together. Oh, I'm actually bringing 10,000 there, and I'm bringing 2,000. Put it together. It doesn't matter who is bringing what, who is bringing who. So far, the things are being paid. The children's school fees are being paid. The bills are being paid. It doesn't matter who is actually bringing it. And women in the house, please don't get to the habit of saying it's actually my husband's responsibility. Remember, we both gave back to these children. So anybody can go out shopping there and do the shopping. Anybody can pay the school fees. That's what I'm saying. But there's this idea now that some women are saying in the house that, oh, if I don't spend the money, anyway, another girl is going to spend it. No, but because you've not been open to him. Why don't you come out there and be open to him? And I noticed something, that if you give love, you will get love. So if definitely that we need to be open. I keep mentioning that openness is so important in marriage. And why is it difficult for spouse to show themselves their payslip? Why? Like I said earlier on, why don't you want to show your payslip? Can I just say that? Like what somebody just said now. Budget plan is very important for couples. Budget plan. We need to have budget. We need to put everything. What are we thinking of? In the month of June, what are the things we need to do? What are the things on our list? We think about the children. Maybe there's another baby coming on the way. You think about that. We just come together and we budget it. And when you budget it, it's easier for you. And when you budget it, you definitely know the husband has actually put his own pay slip down and you have put your pay slip down. And if you're a business person, you need to kind of estimate, okay, what are the things we're actually thinking that is coming in? How much are we thinking that is going to come in? So that about finances. So we're still going to be talking more about that, but just quickly just want to dwell on that. Thank you very much, Taiwo, for joining. And remember, like I said, that your vow, you promised that to share everything. You promise. And I want to just say something. I remember then there was a man that would actually not let his wife see his wardrobe. And you can imagine, they actually stay in the same room. They sleep on the same bed. And he wouldn't let his wife see his wardrobe. Can you imagine if that actually happens to you? If you are on the receiving side, that you wouldn't let your spouse see your wardrobe? What are you keeping in that wardrobe? Is it the new clothes you bought that you don't want him to see? Or is it the other way? Is it the new shirt that you bought that you don't want her to see? So I just want us to say that we need oneness in the house. And I tell you something, marriage is sweet. Don't let the children think that marriage is a problem. No, marriage is sweet. That is why before I started earlier, I spoke to all my sisters, my single sisters and my single brothers, that I actually told them that there is hope. Don't think because the first marriage didn't work, that this is not going to work. This is going to work. The one you want to go into, fear not, because that's what God said, that you will not be disappointed. Fine, what happened in the first time, it wasn't your fault. Or maybe peradventure, let's say it was your fault. But you remember you want to go into this other one. You pray and you commit your ways into God's hands. And just have faith that it's going to work. Don't lose hope. No matter how old are you, no matter how old you are. I'm talking to all the singles in the house, to all the singles fathers, to all the single mothers. I just want to tell you that there is hope. If the first one didn't work, I'm assuring you, don't doubt it. Go for the second one, and the Lord will help you. And we're back to what we're saying now, talking about oneness to all our couples in the house. I just want to ask women questions, something. Why do we need to hide things that we buy? Because I've got some instances that women, they actually, when they buy, especially, and it's the problem about it now is about this Peruvian hair, Brazilian hair, all the hair in the house or anything that is expensive. When we did buy, I'll just keep it in my wardrobe anyway. It doesn't know. It will just be the same thing that we will think is the same I'm having. But I just want to tell you that. Why don't you know when you tell him? And you know what? By the time the man realizes you're telling him things, he wouldn't start digging it out that, I know this is actually new. I know you've just bought this. No, because you have a budget together. You've come together and you budget. And you say, darling, fine, it's your money, we know, but just say it. And that is what we call humility. It's not that you're stupid. You're not. But we just need to be humble. If you want to enjoy your marriage, sometimes you are stupid. I'm not saying you shouldn't talk. We need to talk. Like I said last week, we need to know when to talk, and we need to know when to keep quiet. We just need to be careful. You understand? We just need to be careful. We need to be prayerful, and we need to know the right time to talk and the right time to be calm. You understand? Like what I'm actually telling you today, because the way it is now, one thing that you should note today, if you're actually taking notes, I'm just doing a little recap for people that are actually joining us. I'm doing a recap. The two recap I'm actually doing is that openness is very important in marriage. We need to be open to one another. We need to know there's nothing, because what I believe that for you to be able to see someone's nakedness, there's nothing beyond that you need to hide again. You go in there and you do everything. So why are you keeping that thing to yourself? So why don't you want to share it? Is there anything that is too much for you to share with your husband, and you think your friend is the best person to share with? So I would just advise all the married people in the house, even all the singles in the house, remember that the first person you need to be to make your best friend, like I said last week, is your spouse. And you need to be open when it comes to finances. You need to be open. You need to let go of some things. And when he said, "Oh no, darling, it's not time to buy that now," let it be. You know, sometimes men just want to have that ego. Men just want to know, "Oh, you've written all the list. Okay, let me see all the list." No. No time for this. No, let it be. And do you know what? If you don't argue with him, he will just realize, wow, there's something about this woman. She has really changed. And you are calm. At the end of the day, we'll just be realizing, for her to be calm, I think the best thing for me is just to be like, let me let her buy what she wants to buy. Because you are calm, because the man is used to you retaliating that no, it has to be my way. If I don't buy it today, nobody's going to do anything. No, you don't have to fight. You don't have to fight. You need to keep your home. That's why most times when I go out, I just see women. I'll just deviate from this a little bit. I just see women and I realize that they're at the party or restaurant. They're actually just taking care of themselves alone. They're not taking care of their husbands. It is wrong. No matter where you are from, any part you are from in the world, your husband is your head. Like, I just want to appreciate my husband today for giving me this challenge for me to be able to talk to people, for me to be able to talk to encourage single people, to encourage married people. I just thank him. I just bless him. I bless my pastor, Olurotimi Oluwaseun Oguntele. I just thank you for giving me that honor, because without him, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now. So I just want to encourage all the sisters in the house. Just appreciate your men. Appreciate them. That's what I want to say. I'll just quickly thank you for joining. Let me just quickly pause and read some comment. There's some comment there that is when I agree with one another. Okay, somebody said when you agree with one another in prayer about anything that we ask, it shall be done for us by our Father in heaven. That's Matthew 18:19. Thank you very much, Ricky, for saying this. Whatever we agree together is actually, it works. Because God has said this. Even in the Bible, in the creation, when He was going to create man, He said, let us create man in our own image. And when He was going to create the women, He said, why we are called women is He removed from the man's womb. He said, because we are part of the man. And He now said, the woman should leave her home. So stop talking to your mom about what is happening in your marriages. So I think it's time for you to be matured now, to be calm in your marriage. You don't have to go every time to talk to mommy. Fine, you are mommy's baby, you are mommy's boy, you are mommy's girl, but sometimes you just need to kneel down and just talk to God and talk to your spouse. And you know why you're finding it difficult, you're still talking to mommy. Fine, you believe mommy is praying for you, but there is no way that the mom will actually be against you because she gave birth to you. And by the time you settle the quarrel with your husband, your mom is not still going to forgive your husband. So why do you have to run home every time on the phone and just say, mommy, just get what happened today, just get what Rotimi said, blah, blah, blah. No, you don't need to. You don't need to rub over the phone. Like, we're going to talk a little bit. I know we have a lot. It was about finances we're actually talking about today. Let me just appreciate sisters in the house. Thank you very much. Kemi Shoba, thank you. Thank you. God bless you too. Thank you. You're welcome. Yemisi, you're welcome. Bumi Balogun, you're welcome. Hola Wealth, thank you. And what we're actually about finances that I'm actually talking about. And I said something. I said you need to be humble. And that's why I'm actually talking to the women in the house. Also, it actually goes back to the men too. But who keeps the marriage? Do you think any man actually wants to get married? No, women, they don't want to get married. But now that they're actually married, we need to let it work. You need to show them love. You need to show them that now you are the mom, and also vice versa, the men in the house. Now you are our daddy, you are our love. We need to know that we can actually lean on you. Why is your wife hiding that Brazilian hair from you? Because when they tell you every time you keep nagging, there are some men that nags too. Oh yes, there are some men that really nags. Why do you nag? She's actually told you. You didn't force her to tell you, but because of oneness that we said, she wanted to like, oh, let me be open. Let me just tell him I'm actually getting my nails fixed, and the nails is going to cost 35 pounds. She doesn't need to tell you, but she told you. And because she told you, it might even be a little test that she's actually giving you from this video that we're listening to today. Now from this talk, let's practice it. That okay, fine. When we've actually opened up to our spouse, don't let's nag about the price. Even if it's expensive, you know it's not time for it now. Why don't you keep quiet? Keep quiet and just say, and you just be talking to yourself, though, you know we can't afford it now. But you know what? He has actually bought it. And if he didn't tell you, you are not going to know. So I just want us to say something. Now what we are learning this week, we've learned about being open to ourselves. That money is only paper. That God created the tree that produced the paper, which is called money. And remember, when we came to this world, we came with nothing. So definitely we're going to go with nothing. So money shouldn't be an issue in marriage. That thing that you're keeping, that your PIN number that your spouse doesn't know, it's high time we need to be open. It's high time we need to know. And that is when, even when you know your wife knows your PIN number, I'm telling you, or you know your husband knows your PIN number, you wouldn't do anything that is not God-fearing on that. So you will do everything that you know definitely that is right. So that is exactly what I'm saying today. And I also want to tell all the men in the house, like I said last week, women were expensive. We need to appreciate that women, we fix our nails, we do our hair, we actually do makeup, we like buying things, and the men should know that. We can't be the same thing. But you know what? When you don't actually when you don't give it to your wife every time that she's getting something new, she's going to be more confident and she will come out more and talk to you. We're talking about openness today. So any contribution in the house, we can actually just come out and read it, and we can say something and I'll just be reading it. Someone just said the man is the head but the woman is the neck. That's on the head. Yo, yes, thank you very much, Ricky, for saying that. Yes, without the head, without the neck, the head can't stand. And remember, we work together. The man is the head and we actually, the women, were the neck. So we need to work together. And remember, you can't turn. There is no way. If there is no neck, you can't turn. And remember, women, if there is no head, there is no way you can be turning only your neck. So the two must become together. We must work together. We must do things together. And I'm just telling all my young people in the house, I can see lots of young people there that are there, all the young people in the house, I just want to tell you, when a man is out there, is asking you out, and because he doesn't have a car, and because the man is asking you out because you're still both in university together in final year, and you think you don't want to date students, don't think about that. Don't use that as your yardstick. That man that is a student now will be a professor tomorrow, will be a billionaire tomorrow. Start from somewhere. You don't need to start running and looking for all the rich men. If it's a rich man that comes to you, oh, that's very fine, that's good. But you know what? You need to look for Christ in your man. You need to look for God-fearing man. You need to look for a man that cares. It's not about the money alone. Remember, why do you love that man? Is it because of his money? So is it that if there's no money again, you're not going to love him? Remember, we need to have genuine love for ourselves. And I want to say something about women. Fine, I know some women are actually they're housewives, they work at home. Some genuinely they don't have a job. they've been trying to get one and they've not. And some they're just like, I wouldn't be bothered, my husband will just go and do everything. Remember Proverbs 31:13. A good wife is like a merchant ship. You have to go out there, you have to be a businesswoman. Even no matter how small, help your husband, contribute, put something together and say, oh, my darling, I know you're trying so hard, but this is the little that I have. Let me just put it to what you're putting on the table. Don't just say the men have to do everything. Remember that the men are working too, and by the time they've gone to work and they're tired, because you are just at home. I know you're taking care of the children, but the little that you can contribute, don't say you're not going to do it. Don't say it is his job. It is nobody's job. It's both our job to put the things together and to make sure we have a happy home. And there's a blessing that comes to you when you are actually when you help your husband. And I was talking about humility earlier on. For all the women in the house now, we need to be humble. There's a blessing that comes with it. If you come from a part of the country that you need to be respected, you need your husband to say, oh, before you greet me, you want to greet me, you want to kneel down. I was actually listening to a woman of God I said some days ago, and she was actually saying for the past 25 years, she actually been kneeling down to give her husband food, to serve her husband her food. There's nothing there. That is what your husband wants. And remember, men, because we're doing that, you need to show us love. Don't show us. It's vice versa. As we're doing that, you need to embrace us, give us love, just appreciate us. Women just want to be pampered. Women just want to hear that you're doing well. That's what I said last week. I just thank you for joining. Antonia, thank you. Joey, thank you for joining. Corey, thank you. MC, thank you for joining. Paul, thank you for joining. And I just want to tell you something, that there is something that I notice about women. When you praise a woman, it can actually go out of her way to do anything for you. We just want to be praised. We just want to be appreciated. And we just want to know that there is nothing that the man is keeping for us. Like I said earlier on, I keep referring to it. Because for us to be having, for us to see ourselves nakedness, I think and I know there's nothing that we should be hiding when it comes to money to our spouse. We need to be open. So if we are going on with one thing today, like last week I gave us an assignment. I said we need to say 10 things that we appreciate our spouse for. If you've not done that, please do it today. And make sure you write your 10 things. And every day say that one of those 10 things, say it to your spouse. Just say, thank you, my darling. I appreciate you for teaching me, for making me, for believing in me. Just say things. Just appreciate your spouse. Whatever comes to your mouth, just appreciate your spouse. And like the way I said that women want to be appreciated, men want to be respected. All the women in the house, please respect your husbands. When they are with their friends, like I said last week, don't talk. And remember, some people will say food, sex is not food. It is actually food for men. They want it. Give it to them. And why are you hiding it anyway? When you actually got married, your agreement was that he actually owns you and you own him too. So your body actually belongs to him and it's vice versa. So why are you denying him? Why don't you give it to him? So some people will say, oh, it's actually sex food. It is food. Because I believe everybody watching it, we're actually mature people. We're married. And if we're not married, maybe we're single, we're old enough. So once we have, so let's know that. And that is biblical. But in some places now, in mosques, in some mosques, in some church, they don't actually talk about it. But I want to tell you that whatever your husband say, you understand. When it comes to that, don't say you're tired. Don't pretend you're sleeping, you're not. Don't pretend you had headache. Headache is always the issue. Oh, I have headache, I'm tired. I've been working all day. Why now? Oh, can't this man just leave me alone? No. You understand? If you don't give it to him, it's going to go somewhere else. So we're talking in the house. Please, give it to him. And not just give it to him that like you just behaving like an old person. No, even though the age is just a number. Remember when you were going, you remember when you first married, when you first got married. So be excited about it. Just be excited, be full of life in your marriage. Marriage is very interesting. I'm here to tell you that marriage is good. I'm here to tell you that you can enjoy your marriage, but it actually depends on you. Are you willing to make it work? Are you willing to are you willing? Are you willing to give it all it takes? Are you willing to sacrifice all it takes? It's not about you alone. Remember, if you're selfish, your spouse will be special. So remember, we don't need to be selfish. We need to be selfless. We need to be open to our spouse. Appreciate one another. When it comes to money issue, remember the money is actually for both of you. Remember, I've actually said today, remember, women, you need to be humble. You need to be humble. I keep saying that. Don't think because you're the one that you are making the pay, you're making the you're the one putting the food on the table now. It's just for temporary. It's not going to be like that. Remember that without the head, the neck cannot move. So we need to work together. We need to do everything together. So I'm just here to tell you that marriage is very interesting. So we're going to be here. So if you have anything to say, if you have maybe like any suggestion. Okay, somebody just said we must have mutual respect for each other. Thank you very much, Ricky. Yes, we must have mutual respect for each other. As the woman is respecting the man too must respect the woman. Don't talk down any woman. No woman likes to be talked down. That is why some women are actually very, that's why they're rude to their husbands. Because you don't know when you actually know when to talk. It's both vice versa. We need to know what to say at the right time. When to keep quiet, we need to keep quiet. When we need to talk, we need to talk. So I just want to tell you, like what we've actually said today, we need to put it in practice. Why I'm actually happy today, I'm so excited today, because apart from it being my second born 16th birthday, I actually had testimony about the relationship talk we did last week. The testimony, as the people are actually telling me that they are working towards it, and normally when they quarrel, they don't talk, they'll just keep it to themselves. But nowadays they've been talking and things are getting better, and I just enjoy that, and that just made my day today when I had somebody telling me that too. So why don't you put everything we've been hearing? Don't let's just say we just want to hear alone. We're not just here to just entertain ourselves. We just want to know that what we're doing here, we're sharing notes, we're talking, and it can work. I have some sisters in the house that say the greatest need of a man is not sex, it is respect. Like what I said earlier on, we need to respect them. If you don't respect them, they wouldn't respect you too. So it's reciprocal. And my sister just said something. Marriage is great. We need to give our marriage 100% each, not 50%. Thank you very much for saying that. And I just want to say that marriage, like what she said marriage is 100%. Don't say I'm going there, I'm giving it a trial. No. And because your parents' marriage didn't work, that is not saying that yours is not going to work. You have to say yours is going to work. And that is why you should even be determined that because my parents' marriage didn't work, mine is going to work. Like I said last week, look for a pet name to actually give your husband. That's actually what I do. I call my husband mine. And that is mine. So why don't you just look for any lovely name and give your spouse? You do that. Somebody just said 3 words for happy marriage. Oh yes, thank you very much. That's just the icebreaker. He said 3 words for happy marriage is yes, my darling. I like that. Thank you, Ricky. And that's just it. When you just release everything, the openness and the 100% that your marriage will work. Just hold on to that. And for the singles in the house, remember, it is never too late. But our character matters a lot in everything we actually do in life. I'm talking to both singles now and to both married people now in the house. Your character is so important. What's your character saying regarding you? You're calling yourself that you believe in God, and people are actually scared to come near you. What? And imagine people around you that are scared, they're very scared coming near you. So what when you get to your house? What are your children feeling like? Are you a good role model to your children? Are you a good father to your children? Are you a good mother? Like today is actually, yesterday was Children's Day, but we've been celebrating children all over everywhere in church today. And I just want to say, are you a good role model to your children? I'm just going to round up in the issue of the children now. What are you selling those children? Is it something that the way you're treating your spouse, do you pray for your children to marry the kind of the woman that you are? Or do you pray for your children to marry the kind of a man that you are? What are you saying to those children? Remember, God gave us those children to train them. So it's not about you that, no, I'll just do it the way I want it. No. It's actually about what God said you should do regarding those children. Make sure you're a good role model, be romantic, be very loving, be friendly to your spouse. And I just want to say this week, I have one assignment for us this week. As we're going this week, that PIN number that you're struggling to leave, can you just give her a try and give her the PIN number? And that phone that is so precious to you, that you don't want people to, you don't want her to know your PIN, you don't want him to know your PIN. Is that phone so important or more important than your spouse? What are we hiding? What are we hiding? Can we just come on and be open to one another? Fine, we say we have some private life, we have some privacy. Fine. But I feel that we need to be open to one another. We should give it a thought this week. I'll just read something that someone just said. That marriage is hard work. Oh yes. It is hard work, I must tell you. There are some days I'll use myself as an example, especially this week. Let me use myself as an example. And I'm just like, I've just spoken, I've just preached about communication, I've just encouraged people about marriage. And there's some days you just come back from work or from your business and just like, I don't really want to cook today. But you know what? When you remember that you need to put all your 100% in that marriage, I just go straight to that kitchen. And because even when I'm there, like I said last week, when I'm there, he's always there with me. We just talk together. We maybe when I'm there, we're just gisting about today, what happened today, the communication, like I said. So it's hard work. And that needs constant servicing from both parties. We need to service one another. It's hard work. Don't leave it for the women to do it alone. Because men don't want to get married. Fine, we are in it and we love it. We don't want to come out of it. So men, don't take advantage of us. Don't say because, oh, well, the woman wants to, the woman needs a husband, the woman needs a father figure for the children. Yes, we do. But don't take it for granted. We are human too. We need to be servicing it from both parts. We need it. Because marriage is hard work. We need to work on it. And like I said earlier on, the openness is what we're taking home. The assignment I said is that let's give ourselves that PIN number. Let's be open to ourselves. Let's give ourselves a pet name, a lovely name. Become open and tell things. You understand? Be open to one another. That's how we're going this week. So we're going to join ourselves next week. If we have any question in the house, we can actually say it. And I'll just read what someone said. Someone said, if your spouse become open and tell you things to criticize, you understand? Don't criticize. When your spouse actually becomes open to you, I said earlier on too, if your spouse become open, there are some things you've seen. Don't criticize your spouse. Yes, she wants to buy that hair. The hair is actually costing about 250 pounds. Just tell her that, darling, we can budget. I know you like the hair, it looks nice on you, but let's budget. And the man wants to buy the suit, and the suit is about 500 pounds. Oh, it's expensive, but you know what? We can work it out. So don't let's criticize our spouse. We need to keep loving one another. So I'm actually, because of our time now, for the people that are just joining us, we're actually here every 7 p.m. on Sunday. And today we talk about openness in everything we do. So I'll just read what somebody just wrote. The more you allow the Holy Spirit to fill your marriage, the more forgiveness will be in the marriage and grace. Yes. So we're not just on our own. We need, like I said, we need the Holy Spirit into our marriage. And we ourselves, we need to be a good role model to our children. What are we saying? Fine, it's fasting time now for my brothers. Muslims are fasting. Just because during this fasting alone, you are going to be a good mother, a good wife. After fasting, what's going to happen? We need to keep loving one another. We need to be open to one another. I just want to say thank you to everybody that has contributed in this place. I appreciate you. I'm on Facebook. Talk to Aunty Shola on Facebook. You can on YouTube. Talk to Aunty Shola on YouTube, on Facebook. We can actually talk. I have my email there. On Twitter, you can actually tweet me. I have some messages on email that actually be coming up. You can send me private messages. I actually talk. We can talk together. We can pray together. And we can share notes. And just remember, like I said, the singles in the house, it is not late. Because that first marriage didn't work. That is not saying this one you want to go into is not going to work. Fear not, for God is with you. And for the married couples in the house, I just bless God. I just say thank you. This week you're going to make it a week of a loving one. Make it a week that is full of romance, a week full of openness, a week full of communication. The Lord bless you. I just thank you. Thank you very much. I'll see you next Sunday at the same time, 7 p.m. and God bless you. Thank you very much. Bye.